watch me while I sleep. Don't require your belief. Offering silence but no relief. Can you scream without a sound? Like the freeze that's coming down. Barren space where nothing grows. A secret place where no one goes.
Chaos Springs Eternal is a Delta Green actual play. Delta Green by its nature deals with violent themes, disturbing imagery, and horrors beyond our comprehension. Now, if you wouldn't mind comprehending some horrors with us, I think you'll have a good time.
Can you feel me in the fall? Pull me from this epilogue. My hands are frozen in the snow. The eyes of corpses have no glow. Made these chains just for myself. Rambling about my mental health. Demons on this hazy hill. Only my soul is left to kill.
Hello, and welcome back after an extended break to Chaos Springs Eternal. This is Season 1, City of Woe.
Whoa! The boys are back in town.
The boys are back in town after weeks of illness and
Plague.
festivals and just life that gets in the way of things. We are finally back. We've been sort of, briefing each other on things that have happened in the interim. I mean, we keep in touch. Obviously, we have a Discord in which we post random small things. But gosh, I think we just kind of got to get back into it. But I wanted to take a minute to remind you that how did we get here? You're in Inquinoc. You're in the Dreamlands. How did you get to the Dreamlands? Well, you were going to help your good buddy, the ghoul.
Glomus.
Glomus. Thank you. I invented that name. It's one of my favorite names, and I forgot it. But Glomus, who had told you that he had a buddy who might be able to help solve some of this weirdness that you've had with Clementine and, her connection to the other planes. His buddy turned out to maybe double cross him, bring him in for questioning, and then send you guys to the Dreamlands as kind of a middle finger to both Glomus and y'all. So he's technically fulfilling what he said, he would do for Glomus, but at the same time, he's obviously screwing y'all over. Now, finding yourself in the Dreamland, you escaped from a giant monster, which had a cool scream, and its face split in two, and arms split in two, all sorts of crazy weird stuff. And it was also really, really tall. You made your way down underground, where you met Tholan the Forsaken, who had provided you with a riddle and gotten a flashlight. After a while, you went down, found this sort of ghoul encampment. You guys found out that ghast encampment. You guys found out the ghasts were sometimes negotiable. And there was this giant cavern, and you stayed there for a little bit, had that weird dream experience where you were kind of like just all of a sudden in a dream and then woke up with the bubbles that popped. I don't know if you remember that. But then after that, what happened? You guys were interrupted by the Gug. The Gug, who began working its way through the Ghast encampment. You guys managed to escape with Tholan up a side route, faced off some other ghouls, kept going through the Dreamlands, and finally Tholan brought you to Inquinoc. In Inquinoc, you found the Pearl and Dagger. You found lots of fun stuff in Inquinoc. There's the Palace of the Stone King, there's the Twilight Bazaar, the Tower of Knowing, the Obsidian Gardens, where Cyril saw this strange four-paneled sort of mosaic that, and he went to the Whispering Dais of the Shattered Echoes, and he was able to sort of speak to some sort of spirit thing. You guys did a lot of things in there, and I don't know that I want to highlight anything specific, but you've wound up back at the tower after. Well, okay, I do want to say some specific things, because you went to the Stone King's Hall. You met you met Sage Alzara, and you met the Sergeant Telfa. who leads the Stone King Sentinels, and they both sort of have charged you with various duties in order to find where Clementine might be or find the missing caravan. So Sage Alzara was like, well, it would really help if you cleared out the Shrine of Forgotten Paths, which you did, running into some creepy things, or the living statues. Made your way back to Inquinoc. Let's see, what else? You've met a bunch of people in Inquinoc already.
Yep. We got a camera from the bazaar.
You got from Zakir.
You got
the
Guitar.
You got guitar from nailing the Dream Merchant at the cost of giving up your future in performing. And you met Yathro the Dusk Priest. Forgot about him for a moment there.
Yes.
You've been to the Tower of Knowing. I've mentioned that. Joel and Marcy got books from the Tower of Knowing. And you're back in the Tower of Knowing because the second sort of thing that you've tasked yourself to go help with. We can't forget that Joel tried to scry on Clementine, but was interrupted by some weird goat man. A goat-eyed man, rather. I don't know that you saw his body, but you're back at the Tower of Knowing because one of the things that you've thought about helping with, the other things that you could help with were sort of spying on this potential Ghast incursion, or rescuing a caravan. Well, they need some more stuff on the caravan to figure out where it is, because it was supposed to be there a few days ago and it's not there, and it's got the Dream Seed crystals, which are going to help with the map that will get you to the Isle of Sighs, where you've heard of this pirate queen. There's all sorts of stuff going on, but you decided to help with the Pyre Lens, which had recently gone missing.
Did you mention that the Stone King moved and talked to us? Oh,
yeah, the Stone King, uniquely moved and spoke to you, and imploring you to close the Nexus, whatever that means. Gosh, there's been a lot, but
it's given a dense.
This was the design. Like I said from the beginning, this is supposed to be way different than like a typical Delta Green, mission. In my mind, or like a typical Delta Green scenario. Now, at no point have we really been like a Chaos Springs Eternal. The City of Woe has not been your standard Delta Green, but it's kind of been very patterned after Delta Green stuff. I will admit that in developing this story arc, I was heavily influenced by a lot of sort of Call of Cthulhu ones that I've read, and then just trying to play with a Dreamlands sandbox. Obviously, it's Inquinoc is more the sandbox right now, and then the larger Dreamlands will open up to you. We are, if I'm just looking at my outline of, this arc, we are not quite halfway through.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
That is by design. Like I said, this is a meaty arc. In my mind, there's a lot that you're supposed to do, and I'm hoping that there's some things that you're starting to pick up on that are revealing sort of the wider scope of what this reality is. And in my planning for all of this, I want you guys to be able to sort of query these people, and ultimately the goal is, obviously, at some point you're going to make it out of the Dreamlands, right? But my hope is that you take stuff, whether it's literal physical objects or just lessons or ideas or magic or these sorts of things from the Dreamlands, and that's going to help guide and direct the rest of Chaos Springs Eternal, this season 1 City of Woe. That City of Woe is going to branch out from the Dreamlands arc. A lot has sort of converged on this and like a, focal point, and then it's going to spread out from there. And I really have not, I've had a few ideas for what's going to happen when you get back, but I've not sketched out anything too heavily because I want to give y'all a lot of autonomy and determining what you want to do next. There are still lots of mysteries. There's still lots of things that you don't have answers for. The things that you learn in the Dreamlands will give you tools to help answer those. Last time, you guys started the Inquisition. Mark, I have to give you props. The episode description was so funny. In the last episode, it was just that long paragraph of like a big rant, and it cracked
about
me
the
up
Wheel
when
of
I read
Time.
it. Yeah, was it Wheel of Time? Yeah, Wheel of Time and fantasy, sort of settings, and was it the White Cloak Guard? I don't know. I haven't read the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, the Children of the Light and the Questioners, and
Yeah.
So
So y'all put a couple of the sages to the test, including Sage Orvan and Sage Zilvray. You interviewed Sage Orvan, and what did you learn? You learned a few things. She's a little bit wayfish. She talked a little bit about the Men of Lang taking over Losk. Potentially that there's some coup going over there. That the interactions between Losk and Inquinac have sort of fallen off, and this was something that they would typically be mediated by the way they get things back and forth. The Vayar, rather, which you had found a Vayar feather at the scene of the crime. So, but it was like dipped in gold. That was kind of odd. But the other thing that you had wanted to speak to Orvan about was that she was the one in charge of the Starward locks. And she was particularly disturbed by the fact that someone had managed to bypass her locks. So that was a notable issue for her. You also interviewed again Zilvray, who was sort of an older man with a bald head and a handlebar mustache. He talked to you about the higher lens and how he was interested for its mapping purposes. This, taking advantage of some of these spatio-temporal anomalies in the dream worlds that are these things that could break physics. Because the Dreamlands are operating on a completely different, physical model, things move, but the Pyrelins might be able to spy out or help map these movements or these areas, these unknowns, right? And he was he both credited Althum for a lot of the recent progress, but also pretty well identified Althum as the most likely culprit. He also gave you an insight into the Sage College that, like, people don't really get along. Everyone sort of gives credit to Alzara because she is powerful and she developed this sort of library of Babel-esque, system whereby anyone can get any tome from the real world and grab its, Dreamlands representation over in the Dreamlands. But he was also sort of like, there's drama and there's infighting, people don't work together. And y'all had, at the end of the last episode, essentially decided to toss Althum's room. Now, I skipped over a lot. I'm sure I missed a ton in there. But is there anything, like, real quick, before we start, we're already 13 minutes in the episode by my recording, probably less than that by the time you're listening. Is there anything that you have, like, a question about, something that you are like, hey, did we cover this? Do you have an idea for this? Was this just an offhanded thing? Etc.
I feel like we've been getting dragged into like a hefty amount of side quests, which I know is the design. And oh my god, nobody in this city wants to do anything themselves. Oh my god, it's infuriating.
Yeah. Equinox is the most helpless city in the dream world. Like, nobody wants to do anything.
They are doomed by inaction.
But they are volunteers. They are essentially volunteers in this world, right? So they come here to, like, shoot the shit and do their fun stuff.
This is the equivalent of, like,
it's LARP.
I was going to say it's like Junior Achievement City,
God.
I don't know if you guys have anything like that around where you're from, but
Didn't we have?
I know what
didn't
you're
we have a
saying.
fucking
Yeah,
bit about that?
I had
That-
mentioned. Yeah, I had mentioned the entrepreneur city. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that same idea, and you guys have started to notice. I would say that if you haven't picked up on it, there are some people who are just in it for themselves, and
Yeah.
there are some people
What?
who are managing to.
humans going only for themselves and not caring about the replication, like the consequences of their actions and the repercussions to other people. In humanity, never.
And yet, the city is relatively well functioning. There's, it kind of happens when you don't have to really provide basic services because if someone, needs something, they can just wake up.
Go the fuck home.
So
Wake up.
yeah. There's a lot going on there. And again, if there's anything that you specifically want to delve into, please let me know. I'm happy to facilitate that. But with that, I think that you guys have had it. You were in this room where you had done some of the questioning, sent Zilvray on his way, and I think, are you guys just ready to go?
Yeah. Let's go
break
toss
into his
rooms.
room?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just go.
fuck it
Let's
up.
just get in there.
Okay, let me pull up his room description. All right. So, you guys, it takes, asking around is not too hard. The sages have sort of a wing of this tower of knowing where people reside. So even though the tower goes mostly up, you guys do have, sort of halls that extend. And given Althum, after he helped you with the initial investigation, he appears to have moved on. He is not in his room. People do sort of indicate as you walk down. Seems like everybody's got their own room. There's no, bunk beds or anything like that. And you find the wooden door with Althum's name and a brass plate on the front of it.
I was really hoping that these scholars all had bunk beds.
It brings up another question of like, if you can easily pass from the real world to the dream world, what is it like to sleep in the dream? Like, why would you choose to sleep in the dream world? Isn't that just waking up? But you've learned that, sleeping in the dream world is something different than being awake in real life.
Yeah. All right. So we're at the door. Why don't can we just try opening it?
No, you can't try opening it. You got to do something else.
Damn. What if I try opening
will
it
open the
with
door.
my feet?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Give me a foot roll.
Oh, buddy, I've been waiting.
Oh,
I've been
boy.
praying you asked me for this one day.
Instructions unclear. I've rolled my ankle.
The instructions unclear.
Yeah, when you go to open the door, it is locked.
Damn, even with my feet? That's crazy.
Yeah, actually, it's harder to open with your foot. As it turns out.
No.
Don't we have a guide with us? Is there somebody who's with us?
You had been working a little bit with Sage Bonaventure, but after the questioning, he would excuse himself. He's got he needs to start working on the scrying because he's just got word that Sage Elzara has been making her way back from the forgotten the Shrine of Forgotten Paths.
Yeah. Okay. All right, boys. Well, what are we going to do to get in here?
That's a great question, honestly.
Can I like peek at like the knob? Is there like a key sort of deal, or is it like something arcane in nature?
Yeah, it's a brass knob,
Okay.
with like a slot for a key that you would expect.
Can I try to pick it?
Yeah, give me a there's a lock picking roll in Delta Green. I believe is it
Slides you
criminology?
$5. Is there?
Ooh. Criminology, maybe?
I don't have a high criminology.
Man, you're asking great questions here.
I would accept forensics,
Dex roll because you just do a dex
criminology,
roll.
or just a dex roll, yeah. Or science lockpicking, or craft lockpicking, or language lockpicking. Or actually, you know what? I'd also take art lockpicking.
Art lockpicking lawyer.
Art the lockpicking
Hello,
lawyer.
welcome to the lockpicking lawyer.
Hey guys,
Hey.
this is our first roll in like a month
Like
and a
2
half.
months.
Like a month.
Oh
Yeah.
god, I'm gonna beat it so hard. Oh no.
Dude. Okay, get
I
a
believe in
69.
you.
Okay.
Oh! All
There
right,
you go.
What the fuck?
16. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
16 under 60.
It's not a 69,
All right.
but like
Yeah. So
Six is in there.
what tools does Marcy have on her to pick this lock?
Marcy
I'm just granting that, so you
feels
tell me.
around in her pockets like I thought I had something with me, and she pulls out a pair of bobby pins, and I'm glad I always kept loose shit in my pockets, and just kneels down. My uncle showed me how to do this a long time ago. I think it's come in handy when I've locked myself out of my own house, well, apartment, but you know what I mean. And I think if I just feel around, it's either broken or we got it.
Yeah. Giving it a test, it opens.
Yes.
Opening Althum's quarters are poorly lit. It does not appear to be like if you just saw this, you would not assume that it was a living space that someone stayed in. There are shelves that appear to be made almost like a obsidian coming out of the stone wall that have all sorts of odd stuff. They've got books, they've got scrolls, they've got broken masks, and then just some random like like an astrolabe type of thing, and like small brass balls that are like intricately carved. There's a smell to the room that's kind of odd. Smells something. I would let anyone make like a.
They're knobbing here.
I would let anyone make a. What would be a good roll for the smell?
Sniffer roll.
Yeah.
Art sniffing.
Not
survival?
it's not search. I would say actually an art roll would work. A criminology roll would work.
what kind of art we talking?
Yeah, like is my photography degree going to come into?
Or music?
Music wouldn't work, but actually your
Damn
photography might.
Oh.
Okay, well I'll roll it.
Oh.
Failure. 90 over 70.
Oh no.
You know what? We're batting 50s. You know what? That's still incredible in the MLB.
Yeah. Gosh, there's something that smells. I mean, it reminds you of the only thing that you get with the failure is that it reminds you kind of like the early days that you would photograph. Like it's tossing you back there, but you can't figure out what
like a
that
flash
is.
bulb?
No, not a flash bulb.
Like, does it smell like a chemical?
Yeah, it definitely is a chemical smell, almost like a burnt smell, but like not quite that. There's a thick rug that covers most of the floor that has a sort of concentric spiral pattern on it, and then the thing that takes up most of like the center of the room is this big wooden desk that's carved from this deep black wood that does not look like it should function as a desk based off how the legs sort of jut and wave down, and yet apparently the tabletop balances just fine, because on its surface there are multiple journals, all of them locked. There's a handful of scrolls, and there's brass inkwells that are filled with this dark ink, and that feathers, various birds appear to jut from each one of them. He also, there's a couple books. There's one book that's open on there that doesn't look like a journal. It looks like a book that he maybe got from the Tower of Knowing. And there is no bed in this room, but there is a stone recliner, like a mixed wood and stone that looks very uncomfortable, that sits under a skylight that is open to the sky. So
you can't even
as
escape
skylights are.
aggressive, like anti-homeless architecture here. That's insane.
Yeah. With all that, what would you like to do?
Do you two want to search through here, and I can just stand at the door, stand guard, make sure no one comes by and discovers us?
It's a really good idea.
Yeah, maybe. We can do that unless you have a better search score than us.
I mean, my search probably isn't that much better than yours, honestly. Like, if I had to put a percentage to it,
Jesus Christ, gentlemen.
it'd be like a 64.
I'm good about half the time.
A little more, about 64.
Yeah, Joe, why don't you do the search, and I'll if anyone comes along, I can maybe talk our way out of it. Keep the door closed. Why don't you do the searching, and I'll stand in the doorway and be on the lookout.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
and he'll go by and he'll give you a high five, like he's tagging you out for like a WWE match.
Nice. Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom.
God. I think the first thing Joel wants to check is the book and the drawers, obviously, if there are any. Mm-hmm. But I think he will, if I may, make like a search or an alertness. I don't know which one you prefer for that, but I want to make sure that there's nothing trapped anywhere. Like there's no.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Thing.
We're gonna roll search. Yeah,
search is fine.
FBI wiretap.
Boom. How about an 8?
Oh, okay. All right. So with that search, first off, there's a drawer. The search is not for the drawer. There's just a drawer. Opening the drawer, there is a velvet-lined drawer that is lined that is filled with some steel tools and surgical instruments that are neatly arranged in sort of like almost like a now pack-esque, where the velvet's been impressed for each tool to have a place in there. The book on the desk is you check its title. It's called On Compelled Remembrances, and his bookmark that he's got it. He set the bookmark in and left it open. The bookmark is sort of this paper that has a golden eye inscribed on it, and if you pick it up, it actually feels warm to the touch, strangely, because the rest of this room is relatively cold. But with your successful search, what you find on the table, that there's all these scrolls that are sealed with wax, and it's appropriate that Joel is the one to notice this, and perhaps this is why Joel succeeded here. But on one of these scrolls, you notice that it's kind of odd. It's not wax, but there's this. Instead, it's this like black ichor, which you look at. You notice that the stamp, that is on there is in the form of a goat eye, and when you are sorting through this, when you brush this by, or at some point your hand comes into contact with the ichor as you're looking at it. Maybe you're tracing the eye. There's a flash to that same sort of laughing man's face that you felt when scrying, and the ichor just runs just a little bit onto your hands, and then the moment's gone. The ichor remains on your hands, but you don't hear any laughter or see anything in your mind's eye. But there's something about this that feels odd.
Is the seal like completely gone, or is it like just a little run?
No.
Like a run?
No,
little
in fact,
runoff?
looking at it now, you wouldn't be able to tell that anything had changed, except there's still some ichor on your hands.
Okay.
Perhaps a finger or two.
I think Joel just kind of like just kind of brushes it against his jeans, like just wipes his hand off real quick, not thinking much of it. Afterwards, kind of like coming back out of it, and he'll call it out and say, I think our friend here has been he's been getting something from whatever it is I've been seeing, or whatever it is I saw, I should say. And he'll like motion Marcy over real fast, and then like show her the goat eye symbol.
What the fuck?
You think we should open it, or like?
No.
But like,
I
how, like, what do we have evidence now, but like we have evidence, but we don't know what the evidence is.
Yeah. We should get more evidence and see if he has ties to anyone else here, that he has someone else he's working with potentially to cover his ass in case something happens. That way we can report it to... God, I forget her name immediately, but... Alzara.
Okay. Another question for you real quick, Dan.
Yeah.
The book, you said it was on compelled or uncompelled?
No, on ON.
Okay, so on a compelled remembrance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that a real book?
I mean, it would be coincidental if it was.
Okay, I was wondering if you made that up or not. Okay, thank you.
I was trying to find a threatening, vaguely threatening aura type of name.
Yeah, I mean that does it. You know, like the idea of like being compelled to remember something, like forced to.
Yeah, do you want to
something.
read the book?
Do I want to read the book? Man, I don't like that you jumped onto that, but I think Joel's dumb enough to do it. Yeah, I think he'll just whatever is currently open, he'll just like skim through it real quick.
Yeah, so skimming through the open 2 pages, it's kind of opening in the middle of this, which you realize at some point is an account of someone who is essentially torturing someone who had successfully managed to change their life, who had, gone on from whatever their previous life of sin and villainy was to maybe a virtuous life, or at least a neutral life. And it's a series of recounting, this guy's ability to both using the things that he had found out about this person, and also using certain sort of magical techniques to convince the person that they had never actually changed, and that they were still the person that they were. And it's a very disturbing and I would say heavy scene of someone who had made great changes to their life being brought back to the person that they were before they changed. And you kind of pick up that this is a book about psychological torture.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm going to need you to go ahead and give me a SAN roll as you read through this.
Great.
I don't know if this resonates with Joel at all. And by resonate, I mean disturb.
Not really.
Okay.
42 under 51. I think like he's like a little bit like, what a fucking freak. Why are you reading this?
Yeah. That's a 0-1, so you can move forward.
Yeah.
You're right. It does not hit Joel as much as I had thought it might, but yeah. I mean, I think who has the highest occult and who has the highest unnatural?
I have 9 in unnatural.
Okay. What's your
16 occult?
I have the higher occult. You have the higher unnatural.
What's Cyril's occult and unnatural?
48 for occult and 6 for unnatural.
Freak.
Yeah, I think Cyril's going to have noticed this scroll. There's something about it that is giving you vibes. And with the Cyril, I didn't realize that Cyril had a 48 occult.
That is a very high number.
that is a very high number. So Cyril, you actually, and I think you've heard the Men of Lang tossed around a little bit. You've heard of Lang before. You are vaguely aware that from your occult knowledge that Lang is sort of this place where there might be some ascended masters, that it might be, in the steppes of Asia, or it's kind of hinted at being in a bunch of different places, usually, mostly Eastern, that is almost like a Shambhala, a place where you go to learn sort of the elevated rituals and magic and all of those sorts of things. But one of the things that you've picked up on is that this, the Lang has some sort of connection to, again, these ascended masters. But there's also people who suggest that the ascended masters are not human, that they might be, whether they're, devils or chthonic spirits or angels or demons or any sort of non-human entity, and the eye in this seal just strikes you as something that maybe you read it in a book, that this was a sign or symbol of Lang, that it was somehow connected to Lang. And so I think that seeing Joel pick this up, that raises a flag for you, and flags this was something that must have some connection to Lang.
Yeah. Joel, you mind tossing me that scroll?
Yeah, careful. The wax likes to bleed, and I'll bring it over to him.
Okay. And he'll stand in the doorway and examine the seal, and he'll run his finger over it and see if he gets...
Yeah,
if there's
similar
any reaction.
Similarly, the wax seal sort of again is this black ichor that as you touch it, this is almost like it stains your skin. And when you touch it, you actually hear something in maybe in like language, but it's sort of this almost like bleeding. That's bleating, not bleeding. Sort of something echoing from just beyond where you can perceive what it might be intelligibly.
But does the scroll like appear old? Like, does it look like it looks like it's new, like it's new parchment?
Yeah, it's hard to say how old it would be, but it does not look like aged or weathered.
Okay. So you guys don't think I should crack this open?
Not here.
Well, where else would we do it?
In a safer spot when we're not breaking and entering.
No, okay.
But if we know what's in the scroll, we might be able to look for something a little more specific. Like if he got sent something in the scroll, it says like, "Oh, hey, thanks for sending us
these brass
mirror."
balls.
So like have this magical goat man thing.
It's gonna say all that?
Word for word, verbatim. The only way we find out, you open that damn scroll. Just saying.
Not me.
Oh well. Okay, well, is that 2 votes for opening?
I'm always fucking outvoted here. God damn.
I'm sorry, Mossy. That is true.
Clem.
I know. I think I'm going to open it. So he will grab.
Joel will take 1 step back and crouch down behind the desk.
Okay, well, you're not building up my confidence here. you told me to open it, and then you sought shelter.
Is there any way I can try to like call upon my the guardian spirit to like ward him a little bit?
Yeah, you can always try. Go ahead and give me an occult roll.
Okay. I'll open myself up to violence, Dan, for you. That's a 25 over 16. Closer than I'm not spending luck for this.
9 luck? Come on. I'm sure you had that laying around, right?
It's not a game with me if I'm not spending fucking luck.
Don't spend the luck. Don't spend the luck.
Nope. Dan.
Are you spending it?
I'm spending 9 luck.
Gosh, no, you do this to me. Mm-hmm. And now I have to, because you have never successfully channeled your guardian angel before.
Nope.
So I don't know.
For her, it comes across as innocuous. Like the action that she is taking is just genuine, like standing next to Cyril, hand on his shoulder, and just, good luck, Cyril. Whatever happens, I'm here with you.
So, Marcy has never successfully channeled her guardian angel, and she's also only attempted this, I think, once before.
When a tornado was chasing us. That
was in Carrefour. That was in the real world. In the dream world, what you notice is that it does, it happens, and there's just this moment where you're reciting, just this little, maybe it's a psalm that you're invoking this idea, right? And you're sort of imagining, the ritual tells you to sort of imagine this protective bubble, and that as you are saying these things, as you've kept your heart right, that the guardian angel will reveal itself to you and tell you so that you can have the inspiration and guidance, the knowledge and conversation with it that will tell you what you need to do. But what no one has told you, and this is, you don't have like an occult mentor, so how would you know? Is that maybe in the real world, the holy and guardian angel is sort of this general idea. Maybe it's an aspect of yourself. Maybe it's your higher self, your ideal self that you're trying to aspire to, and so you're really inquiring of yourself. How do I improve? How do I do all these things? And so it's really all about self-improvement. That sort of thing. In the dream worlds, the holy guardian angel is a real entity that Marcy, upon successfully invoking this, sees a massive, giant figure appear in this room. Joel and Cyril, you also see this figure. Everyone, please make sanity rolls.
Fuck, I'm sorry.
Success.
Oh, God.
Failure. Okay, so seeing scary goat man, we chill. Literal angel, panic.
Yeah.
The biblically accurate sanity response.
Be not afraid.
Yeah, and as this figure sort of unveils itself, it is humanoid, but its eyes are like a ring spinning around its head. So it is a constant stream of eyes. Imagine that you took a strip of paper and drew eyes on it and then wrapped that around your head and then just started spinning that. That is what that is like. And the wings are flapping, but not in the way that you would think that wings would flap. They are sort of spinning, rotating along as it juts out of its back. And again, this figure is huge. It is probably 10, 12 foot tall, taking up a good portion of the room. Okay, so Cyril and Marcy both take 1, and Joel, you're going to take 1d4. There we go. Oh, you take 1 as well. So everyone takes 1 sanity from this. You can project the sanity loss if you'd like to onto one of your bonds, giving everyone the opportunity. Nope. No one?
Yeah,
all right.
all good.
No.
So the angel looks at you, Marcy, and in a etheric, comforting voice says,
"You have summoned me. What do you need?
Help?
What help do you need?"
And she's just staring up at this entity, and just kind of like all the saliva in her mouth is gone. As she's just staring up at this, and like eyes agape, mouth kind of open, as it's like, this guy's about to do something I'm scared about him doing, and I want him to not get hurt by it.
The guardian angel looks at you, looks over at Cyril. I sees that he's holding a scroll, and being a guardian angel, says,
"Perhaps I can assist."
And it holds out its hand as if to say, hand this to me. Noah, Marcy loses 2 POW, so just mark that off for you. Just knock a couple POW down.
So you want to open the scroll? I mean, we kind of need to see what. I mean, I was going to use my own protection, but now that you're here, I guess we'll have to do that.
It nods.
I'm still chill to open it but if you want to, I'll hand it to you. We need to figure out what's inside of it.
Okay. Handing it to the Holy Guardian Angel. It has massive hands, but its fingers sort of deftly hold this tiny scroll, and it unseals the seal, that black ichor. And that black ichor, you see that it spreads as it splits the seal. It spreads to this angel's hand and appears to tattoo itself into the hand. The angel then looks at it, and you see it sort of just disappear off the angel's hand and dissolve into nothing. And it kind of looks at you, Cyril, and you have this feeling that had you done that, it would have tattooed your hand permanently.
Oh, shit.
And you, unlike an angel, do not have a way to get rid of that. So,
well, it saved me a laser removal.
I think Joel's going to look at his fingers.
Yeah, Joel, your fingers are stained.
God damn it. I'm sorry.
You were not able to wipe it off on your pants. Yeah. And
oh, God.
No, you're right. Not POW. Sorry. You're spending willpower on this.
Okay. I was like, okay, all right. Yeah, I'm down. This is something intense.
Guardian Angel breaks the seal and then opens the scroll, holds it open, and it begins looking and reading. And it looks over to Cyril and says,
"Do you speak Chthonic?"
Do not. I do not speak Chthonic.
Then you would have a hard time reading this, but I can read and translate this for you.
That'd be amazing.
And it says again in this sort of etheric, like a voice that rings through your head, but in a very pleasant way. It says,
"This is an agreement between Sejothum and the Men of Ling. It requires him to retrieve an object called the Pyrelins and deliver it to the Black Galleys. He has been promised a Vayar, which will abscond or deliver that to the proper place when he has done it. And there are promises of... it's hard to translate. It promises of... appears that they will give him a formula to purge his soul of filth. I think that's the best way to translate this.
Like an absolution formula?
Yes, but maybe a transformative one. It seems like, and
kind of moving through the skull,
it seems like it will allow him to stay in the dream world as long as he wants, and not that he can sever his connection to the real world? That is strange.
Oh.
So it'll allow him to be here in the flesh indefinitely?
Yes. It is apparently a secret from the blind masters of Yadath.
Masters.
What did you say? You said something about, so it's between Althum and the men of Lang, and it requires him to retrieve the Pyland, so we know that this motherfucker took it, and deliver it to the Black Galleys? Is that what you said?
Yes, it says that the Vayar will convey it to the Black Galleys, which appears to be in Losk itself, a port maybe? Or perhaps the Black Galleys is a ship? It's hard to tell from... Chthonian has some difficulty translating to the language that you would understand.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well,
Thank you.
yeah, that was very helpful. It's nice that you're on our side, I guess. Do you have a name?
She can learn my name in time.
Hey, why didn't you help with the tornado?
It turns to you, and again, these spinning eyes and sort of rotating wings. It says,
I'm sorry, I got snippy.
You are not ready for my full companionship yet. Here is easier to manifest. I will see you again.
And then she's just gone. It's just gone.
Oh,
And did she drop the scroll?
Yes, left the scroll behind.
Bye. And takes it with her.
Joel's gonna look at his hand and be like, shit. Fellas?
Well, I think we know who did it, right?
Yeah, and I think unfortunately they might know we know.
Yeah, but that pie lens may already be on its way to Lusk, right?
Yeah.
From the sounds of it, yeah, potentially.
And the Black Galleys, is that the name of the group that was in Lusk? That was... I can't remember.
Are you talking about the Nightmen?
The Nightmen, the assassin people?
Yeah, the Nightmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she pops back in and she says,
there's also this... there's a little bit here where it says we've provided you with the edge of a blade from one of the Nightmen in case you need to plant something to distract them from what you're doing.
and then she disappears again.
Hey, I fucking God, no, please.
Okay, so there's some sort of blade now that...
No, that was the... Remember, he had the... There was a... Like, the edge of the blade that was part of the distraction. Or part of a distraction, obviously, but there was like an assassin's blade with the gilded feather.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, okay. All right, well, I mean, do you think Althum is still here?
I mean, if he's not, we're going to go find him.
Let's go find this motherfucker, unless we want to toss his room some more.
I mean, I kind of do, and I think Joel wants to lift up the rug.
Underneath the rug is just sort of bare stone floor.
Okay. He'll roll the rug up unevenly, so it's a pain to get it back the right way.
Oh, man.
He puts the big heavy desk on it all.
Okay, I'm adding 1 to your corruption score.
He's going to pull the drawers all the way out of the desk and dump them out.
Mm.
And then is there a window?
There's only one window and it looks up. Right? It's a window to the sky. Skylight.
Oh, okay, it's just a skylight proper. Okay.
Yeah.
How high up is it?
Let's find out.
Is there glass in it, or is it just open air?
It is glass. It's 8 feet up.
All right, cool. Fellas, I've really wanted to do this for a long time.
Oh boy!
And I'm just gonna grab it by the handle and just like a kettlebell, like prep it, and I'm just gonna chuck it straight up, trying to get it through the window, and then run out the door.
What are you checking through the window?
Yeah, what are you chucking?
The drawer.
The drawer? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, give me like a strength roll.
Okay, what if I say... Hang on. Yeah, strength fine. 24 under
Okay.
65.
Nice.
Yeah, you manage to launch it into the glass, and it shatters, and the glass and shelf drawer come back down on the stone recliner, and the drawer itself also like splinters, and you have already emptied it, but it is not going back in that desk, no matter how hard you try.
Cool. I think Joel runs out the door. Is like, all right, it's time to jet, boys. He's like already like waddling down the hallway, big ol' smile on his face.
Good times. I think that is about as good a place to call it for this
A
session.
kettlebell toss of the
Just
drawer. Nice.
Smash the window and smash the window and run.
Yep.
So we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
In blood, it's written on the wall.
Thank you once again for tuning in to Chaos Springs Eternal, a Delta Green podcast. Shout out to Arc Dream Publishing, who makes Delta Green. They've got lots of great content coming out. Shout out to Panzer Kings for Cocytus, that's our theme song. And shout out to Hideous Hiss for our background music. Make sure you check our show notes. I've linked Hideous Hiss Patreon. If you'd like to contribute to Chaos Springs Eternal, you can rate and review us on iTunes or your podcast platform of choice. Leave us a 5-star review. Send us an email. We've got an email in the show notes. And with an NPC idea, and we'll toss them into our homebrewed campaign.